As I've already said in my sludge review as an introduction, I am breaking this down to these two figures to shorten the time because otherwise it'll be like over 35 minutes. This will be at least maybe 16 or minutes or so, as I do tend to ramble. Anyway, I'm not showing you transformation. Go to MGO316 as the primary reviewer YouTuber for transformation. He's the best that I always go to. Next in line is Ben's Collectibles, because he almost does the same quality as far as I'm concerned, except he goes to different figures that MGO doesn't, because Ben's Collectibles does do knockoff figures as well. And then in between them is TM Reviews. So those three are the ones I go to. There is another reviewer that I usually go to. I'm not going to mention his name because he might think I'm being rude, because I primarily go to him because it's not out of disrespect for the figures, but it's just the way he transforms it. And I know it's difficult to transform in front and behind the camera, but he's heavy-handed, and if a figure is ever going to break, it's going to break under him. If a figure doesn't get broken by him, then feel confident that the figure is well enough done that it probably won't break if you go and watch MGO's transformation, because he will show you the best way to do it, and you can kind of go in between the videos to avoid breaking off any piece in your expensive masterpiece collection. Again, no disrespect to the other reviewer, that's why I'm not going to name him, but between these two, MGO and the other guy, you want a video that's not done to break the piece intentionally, but it's just, you know, sometimes, you know, we're kind of heavy-handed and we're forcing it because the way it's designed, and we want to know how big of a tolerance a figure can take before it breaks. So that's why I go to this reviewer. But MGO, if you want to watch it how it's done the safest way, I would go to him first. Okay, so on to the review for Menasor MotoMaster Stunticons. Yes. So this is the MotoMaster Transformer Legacy in truck mode. This really is heftier and heavier than I thought it was going to be. The trailer is thicker than the Optimus Prime, because I think that one was only like this wide. It's the same length and everything, but obviously when it's behind my plexiglass there, so I can't just pull it out. That one is probably 20% of the weight of this thing is, obviously because of all the compacted big robot in here. So this is just going to be a quick review of how it feels. I'm not really a type of collector that's really nitpicky. Like, for example, I see a slight damage in the coloration up there. That's fine. This is kind of like a toy for me, so for me, I think this looks great, man. Coming from the original G1 from Takara Hasbro, this is just like MotoMaster as I envisioned it, what it could be way back then. The only thing is, what I've noticed, I mean, it's great engineering, but it does sometimes kind of get fiddly how it's pegged. Like, for example, this part, it doesn't have anything to peg into at all in here. Nothing. The only thing is maybe this part, it plugs in, I believe, to this port. That's the only thing that's holding it down. So sometimes, if you're the type of person that's looking up close to a camera, and you can see how it's like not necessarily tapping into, that might irritate you. I can't see it. For one thing, it's gonna be MotoMaster. I was thinking of doing a second copy because it looks so good, but I think it's just going to be a MotoMaster. This tire, you don't really see how thin it is from the side. It only becomes irritating because it does tend to fold in sometimes. This is not so bad. It was folding in before. But let me show you the trailer part. Look at this. The plastic is so thin. The way they designed it, it's just not. Here you almost don't see it. You see it from the back. But yeah. But like I said, I'm not the type of collector that's gonna be looking into that. But it might irritate some people, because I think the plastic they're using now is just so much more thinner, so much more flexible. In a way, it's good though. I'll show you what I mean in the sludge quick review. But yeah. Anyway, let's go on to the robot mode and see how it looks like from there. It looks great though, man. Wow, MotoMaster. Alright, so on to MotoMaster. I mean, they are just killing it with these Combaticons? No. Combaticons. Stunticons. They're just killing it, man. The silhouette in itself is good. This is even forgivable because it is kind of chunky at this point. But the head, the body, it's got every kind of articulation you can think of. It's got some soft ratchet again. That's kind of hard, but it's really soft. It is almost loose like slush, but because it's so small, it's okay. It can stand on its own. The way they created this smaller cab is just, it's almost like Masterpiece inspired. And of course, because the wheels are so thin, it just folds back in there. I can't remember which MP third party does that. I think somebody else does it too. I'm gonna say X-Transwatts probably. That is just, it's just gorgeous the way it turns out. And this, the thickness of this one, the width, it's forgivable because you still you still have the front cap. It's just split. It's got to be big. You know, you just cannot avoid that. Not at this price point, but at this price point, this is just gorgeous, man. Barely any kind of backpack in there. It's the same size as Optimus Prime, and I'm okay with that. In hand, it almost looks kind of small, but I'm comparing the size to a third-party Masterpiece scale, and you don't need to do that. In its price point, in its range of toys you're going to be displaying this with, this is just fine. This is just fine. So again, what a gorgeous thing, man. You know, when it comes to things like being painted, fully painted and all that stuff, like this is not painted, I don't mind. It looks like a cab or a trailer. It looks gray, it's got purple. This is not completely all the way through. I'm okay with that. Doesn't have to be 100% tune accurate, and if I ever wanted it to be, I go to Lek Customs. He's that's LEK Customs. He paints everything beautifully, and you'd swear it just jumps out of cartoons. So if you want to watch that YouTuber LEK Customs, it's probably expensive, and I don't know where he's based, but it inspires you if you're ever in the mind to repaint your figures and draw ideas from. It inspires you to get to that level anyway. But as it is for this price point, this is gorgeous enough for me. All right, on to Metasaur's frame. Okay, on to the big guy, which is a Menasor combined. Well, Menasor. After it's been transformed, this You know, first thing we gotta talk about is the size, right? I was really hoping this was gonna be as big as Devastator from the original combiner mode. I think that's 17 inches. This is not 17 inches. This is, well, let's see for ourselves. This is at the most 12 and a half, maybe 13 inches. Yeah, you guys can see it better than I can. 12 and a half inches. It looks beautiful. It is the closest to a Masterpiece line Menasor. And I have drag strip, but I'm not gonna put him on right now. Looks so promising. It's just so small. It just needed like 4 more inches, and I don't think any third party like DNA Kit can do anything to it, because proportionally everything's perfect. The head to the chest to the legs, legs to the thighs, and the feet is even oversized. It's big ass feet in the back, probably for stability, but I wish they could have make 1 more hinge here to fold it up. I don't know. It looks like he's on skis or something. That's the only thing, is the back. The feet is pretty big, and the size. The size is pretty big. I'm pretty small. Other than that, proportionally is perfect. It looks like Menasor, much better than the Power the Primes. What that? But I didn't even want to buy that. I wasn't gonna support it. Articulation is great. Got really hard ratchets, and they're not like overly spaced, so you can get any kind of movement you want. It is almost perfect. Hasbro, man. How much was this? 80 bucks? I would have been willing to pay 150 if it was just a little bit higher. So I think 24 for the smaller cars, 80 on this one. I would have paid 50 for the smaller cars, or 40 for the smaller cars, and maybe 100 to 150 on this one. If I could have gotten the height that I wanted with this kind of aesthetic design. It's just anything, almost everything I could have wished for. I don't even care about the fingers being unarticulated. It's just a big fist with a hole in there. The other thing too is the sword, man. It's rinky dinky. I guess it might fit Motormaster, but this is like it's like, that's a knife. Not a sword for Menasor. It's not imposing at all. This was the hidden gun that was inside the trailer. Sorry for the jiggly wiggly. If you want to, I mean, I think what they could have done with the sword was have an extension of some sort. You just plug it in and have it extend. But other than that, it looks great. I believe it's as tall as Jetfire or Skyfire, however you want to pronounce his or say his name. Yeah, but that's it for Menasor. What a beautiful looking piece though, man. I mean, there isn't even any backpack. The X-Transbots leaned like this, you know. There's no danger of this thing tipping over. Those legs are just like, come on, man. What are those legs for? I don't know. But anyway, let's go on to the next figures.